How's everybody doing? Now you can hear me, huh? So I don't know what was going on with that. So that was just one of them things that just got weird. So you couldn't hear me at all. So now you can. Let's go then. Let's get this started. Uh I'm gonna open up another window. Hopefully you guys got this stuff downloaded. Uh I am going to open up my window for it. I'm using my Windows uh desktop today, and normally I use an Apple, so it's just bear with me because sometimes I takes me a minute to like f- find the ones that I'm opening or trying to get open sometimes. No, I don't want an entire screen. Uh, so no entire screen. Um, okay, so let me. Oh yes, let me open. Let me open up my Studio One before we go any further. I gotta open it. Forgot you gotta double click these things. It's totally one of them things you gotta double click. Do My microphone keeps going off. My microphone don't want to stay on. Does not want to stay on today. I probably should have used my other computer to do this as well. I hate it when it does. Well, yeah, it says unexpectedly stopped. Oh man. Mm, I hate that when it does that. There's no way to get it. Oh well, there's no way to get around that. So I'm gonna have to leave that where I can see it. So if the microphone stops, which it already did, unexpectedly, it's probably cutting in and out. But if the microphone stops, just bear with me and follow along. So, like, before I get started, though, hopefully y'all have Studio One. I hope. If not, take the time to download it so that way you can definitely. Well, well, dang. I guess this how it's gonna be, huh? Does not want to let me do the whole double double screen thing, huh? It just wants to keep me from doing this. So I can actually turn that off. Got to turn it back on. Oh, there we go. Now I'm in the corner of it. It's telling me I can drag it wherever I want, but I really just don't want to drag it. I just want to be able to. Whole thing. I don't get it. This thing wants to mess with you. So I should have probably just used OBS. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get up off here real quick. I'm going to come back, but I'm going to use OBS because apparently it looks like I'm freezing and all this other stuff on here. I think OBS would be perfect for this because I don't think I'm going to lose any. Well, I don't know. Hopefully. Hold on. I got to go to my settings. Probably should use my other audio interface. I don't know why this computer just makes things so complicated for me sometimes. Probably have to hook my other one up as well. Hmm. Yeah. Probably should be using my other computer as well, but takes a lot of effort. Then I gotta hook a HIMD cable up. And then that's just no fun. But let's see here. Let me Move this over. Hold on, make this smaller. Open this back up. There we go. This way, I'm gonna have to. Well, look, now my camera's just like, yeah, no way. See, now my camera don't even like me. My camera hates me. Yeah, there we go. Got to put this on there where I can use that, I guess that's probably why my microphone was cutting on and off. I got to be able to have it to where it's in the background running on the same thing. So that way they're both doing it at the same time. Apparently that's fun. Trying to figure that out. So over here in this corner, this is my instruments. Like, so I have impact, Muay Thai. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but we're gonna call it Muay. We're gonna call it Muay Thai, and then the Mojot, and then the Present, and then Sample One, which the majority of this one I use all the time. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot to share it. My bad. Okay. So over here in this corner, this is like all the little instruments. And then if you click up here, you can get that off of there. This is like a note input filter. Pretty much basically I don't really use it. I'm pretty sure it probably like finds the notes for you. But it is what it is with them. But there's the impact. This is like a whole like instrument thing where it has drums, kick, snare, clap, all that good stuff. And it has, then you can put it on like like whatever sample you want. But then this one's the keyboard. And then that's like the whole part of where, you can play this one. This one's actually not too bad, but it goes like, I don't know if you can see where I dropped it down, but there's bass, there's bells, there's chord sounds, drum effects, heavy like, you know, keys, lead, pad, poly, strings, and a template. The templates pretty much is like everything already done for you, made simple. So, there's like these instruments and stuff right here, but this is not the one that I would start with normally when I come to do this. I normally start with my drums, which is a whole thing for me, because that's the first thing that I always start with is my drums. But hopefully, I mean, y'all got this like downloaded, and you're don't mind me. I'm looking at like the things that are on here, like to see if it's on both. So I'm actually messaging somebody. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. I'm not multitask to like type and talk. I'm just kidding. I am. I can type and talk. It's just it takes a lot of concentration between both. So Now I gotta check and make sure this is on YouTube because I'm not like totally for sure if it's playing on there or not. So I might not even be doing it just yet. Yeah, I guess it's not doing it yet. It's just apparently on just the one, which is all right, I guess. It is what it is. Uh, I guess before I like actually start and get more into it, I guess I'll wait for more people to join. I don't not unless I got cut off and you can't. I gotta make I gotta make sure that I'm heard. It's not easy, like because you don't know. Okay, that's good. That's good. Had to ask somebody. Oh man. So who's all on Facebook and who's all on um YouTube right now? Let me move this because I cannot see my comments. That just makes it so complicated that you can't see the comments. Oh man, you know how cool it is when it comes down to that, and you're like literally trying to see your comments. So I don't know. I actually like myself in the little corner over there. I'm trying to. It will not let you be like that fascinated with this apparently, but at least you can hear me. Okay, so does everybody have Studio One like downloaded and ready to go before you I get started? It's like a whole it's the whole process of this thing for me. So all I gotta do is just really literally show you how I totally go through my process. So let me make this a little smaller so that way I can have this over here in the corner and this over here in this corner. It's funny that this got small on me. Don't mind that. I'm just making my side a little bigger. So that way. Okay, so right here, if you click on this, this is for recording. Okay. This like for the sound to play by itself if you have other stuff there. And then this is the muted. I probably let you know what? Let me like start from the beginning because I don't know who was all in here when I started. Okay, so like right here, this is my beginning. So don't worry about this right here if you don't have an audio interface. The audio interface is how I'm talking through my microphone. It helps because you can hook up your speakers and headphones. You can actually just hook your headphones up to the computer and call it a day. So this is for that. So what you'll do is if you want that to be on here, you'll take and you'll go to this. See, mine says Studio USB because it's a USB, and then your sample rate. You can set your sample rate. So say if like you're working like so say if you're arranging your music, so you can go as high as 248, 2048. I mean 2000. I just say 2048. It's the sample rate, like you can go, but this means you're working in like double time. So normally mine set at 512 are lower, like 128, because I'm not working that fast most of the time when I do this. And then there's your process right here: dropout protection, minimum 512, your single 32-bit process. So your processes at like 32 gigabytes are like byte per frame, which I mean, I don't really know the whole term for that, but I figure I'd show it. And then like right here, if you see, this is like where my keyboard, this is my keyboard. So that's where, you know, I would have the keyboard at and have it on, but I don't have it on right now because I'm not using it. And then right here is your editing. Enable crosshair cursor for tools. Expand layers after recording takes. Well, I mean, as long as you've like seen where mine's at and leave yours like this is how it'll be and stay. So this is your beginning. You can put your picture right here if you want. You just click on these three bars right here in the corner. Oh yeah, I got like two different pictures. That one right there, I thought it'd be cool to make it look like I was just waking up on one of them, like on one of my podcasts. But I use this one because this one is like it represents who I am. So like you can click on that and then you can click on it and then you just open it. If you're using Windows, if you're using Mac, you click on it and it'll say open to, and then you just open it and it'll just place it right there where it's at. And then over here is your open an existing document. Excuse me. Okay, but if you are, I'm pretty sure you probably already know this part, but I'm using Studio One 4. If you have like Studio One 5 or Studio One 6, it's still the same thing. It's going to be the same whole setup. Okay, it's going to be the same setup. The setup don't change. I probably made that look funny. Uh, let me make this small again. How's the picture looking for you anyway? Because I am literally, it's like it's a smaller screen for me because I'm looking at it from like the position that I'm sitting at. Let me get back to this. I don't lost it on my phone. Just forgive me. I'm trying to make sure that I'm still being seen. Now I gotta go to it so I can see what I'm doing and make sure you can see it as well. Even though I know you can see me over in the corner, which is good. It it's awesome. And hopefully you can see me. Which I'm pretty sure is probably running really slow. So let's get started and go into this. Okay, so there's styles, so you can do empty song, create an empty song. There's band recording, house techno, which this right here, like the house techno thing, I would use it if I'm using like my turntables or I'm doing a mixtape or something. And then this is instrument set, and then mixing and arranging is where I go to like arrange my beats that I'm doing or that I have done. Multi-track recording, sample multi-track recording sessions with 8 inputs: piano, ballad, pop template with piano, strings, bass, guitar input, and vocals. This is your podcast production, rock band, rock band recording session, singer songwriter part, like template for you guys that write. And then there's pretty much vocal guitar used for a vocal and guitar song. Record, use your vocal recording with playback track, which I'm not. And then it shows your interfaces right here. So say if you got like one of these ones that are more expensive, this is like where you would go to find it, because this goes with Personas stuff, which I'm using a Personas interface right now, which might happen to be the USB. And then I have a template, but I'm not going to use that because that's this one I created to see where it was going to go. I'm going to make a new one, but there's like the empty song thing right here again. Then you can just go back over here and go to it. It makes it easier. So you'll click on OK. Everything over there on the side where you just seen before we came into this, leave that as it is. Okay. So up here you have your cursor, you have your range tool, your cutting tool, your eraser, your writer, your mute, play. Well, this right here, I think it reverses the song. I'm not like, too positive about that. And then this right here is the strip silencer. So it'll like strip whatever silence is in the middle of that. And then your quantize, which you see the pop down, and then you got your other pop down, which has the name, undo, redo, loop, range, cursor. I don't know what the SEL stands for. We'll just say cell, loop, overview, toggle, sound, mute, loud. I'm just gonna call it loud. Then your play in loop, copy track, all FX off, song folder plug, which is your plugin, like these. These are plugins. Then you got this over here, which it'll show the tracks that you got right here. And then this right here is this is grouping them, which it groups like all your drums together. So say like if you're gonna do drums, kick and all that, don't like go into this and do them all together at once. It makes it a lot more complicated than what you think, because you can't move them one at a time by themselves. If you're going to arrange your music the way you want to arrange it, there's no way that you're going to be able to. You'll be able to move it, but you ain't going to be able to move like your kick, your bass, your snare, your hi-hat, your open hat, or anything like that. You'll have to just move that whole thing if you use the drums in this. This right here as well, if you use this, it has the drums and piano sounds or whatever. But if you use this, it's going to be the same as this one. If you use the drums in it, you got to move everything together. There's no way. I mean, you could separate it if you want to do one of these one at a time, just like to do your kick, your snare, your drum, your open hats, your hi-hats. You're gonna have to go to this. I mean, you're gonna have to just move the whole thing. So let me kind of use this as an example. I'm gonna open it. So you'll go up here. It has a lot of like a bunch of presets in here already. So you got your trombone. I guess that's a tambourine. There you go. I don't hear that word enough. And then your bass kick, your second tambourine, your snare, close hat, bass one, clap. So say if you do this, use this, this is going to group it all together and that's the one thing that I don't use is like to group it all together. And it makes it a lot it makes it complicated for me, and a lot of people are using Ableton. I'm like trying to use Ableton every once in a while. I still have not figured Ableton out. So it'll probably take me a while if anybody ever wants me to do like a video on that or whatever. That'll take me a minute to learn how to do that one because I've always used Studio One. And like, so in my case, I use this one a lot because I have like, let me get this off of here. I have my own, like, files for, making my own drums and stuff. But we'll get into that. Let's see if I can actually get them. Yeah, don't pay no attention to that. That's the program stuff. Next time when I get on here, we'll go through this, but we're talking about everything to do with. So these are your effects, which this is your amplifiers, your analog delay, auto filter, beat delay. I really don't know what that word is, but I know it's a pan. Then your bush crusher, channel strip, chorus, compressor. Then you got a dual pan, which is pretty much the same as this, but it does what it does. And then you got where'd it go? I'm going the wrong way. And then you got your expander. And then you got your fat channel, which is another thing of a compressor. And then your flinger, your gate, your level meter to let you know if you're like going way over the whole level of your loudness or your bass or whatever. And then you got a limiter, which is the same thing as these two are pretty much the same thing. And then your mix tool, which you'll use this to lower some of that, like frequency that you don't want, like making it where it's like the whole time that you're doing it. And then you got your mix verb, your phrase meter, your phrase, and then your pro EQ. Now this is pretty cool. So say like if you have vocals that you're doing, this right here is pretty cool. You put this on your vocals, it'll take and make your vocals like you can lower the high and low ends on it if you use that. And then you got this, you can make yourself sound kind of like you're on the radio a little bit. I don't use this one a lot. Then you got your room reverb, which I use this a lot, the reverb. And then the rotary, we'll call it a rotary. And then your Scopy spectrum meter. This stuff right here is like for like your tone to show you where like everything's like leveling itself out or going higher than the other. So it's kind of like, everything's trying to be level. Some's higher than most, pretty much is what that's going to do. And then you got your track comp tuner, which like how you tune your guitar. So that'd be pretty much like you're tuning your strings. And then you got the X trim. So these are all your effects. So you'd have to play with them to find out which one suits you right or which one's best for you. I can't just sit here and say which ones are the best, but I do know if you're like recording your vocals or anything, you do need the Pro EQ though on your vocals. You can put this on your drum. Okay, so let's do this. Let me get this one off of here. Or I already did get it off of there. Never mind. So then right here, you have loops. You can see I already had some open. And then you got your kicks, which you can listen to them. So like that's your kick. you can find whichever one hits the hardest, I guess. So I mean, they're all different. Now, that one right there sounds pretty good. I think I'm gonna use that. So hold on, let me stop this. So if you have, like I said, if you have Windows, or even if you have Mac, it's going to be kind of close, similar to how I'm doing this. So see how I did the not the I did the other did a right click on the like the little right pad in the order to open this up, and then you can send this to that. Boom. So well, let me change this color for y'all. I like green. Green is my favorite color. So we'll leave that like that. So what you'll do for this, I mean, you can do it however you want. If you want, you can follow, you can actually just do what I do. It might help. So get that I set all these at 800 right here. Just the release is pretty much what the R stands for, is release. I went too high on that. I put all the releases on 800, and then I go back sometimes and I'll turn some of them. I'll turn like maybe one or two of them off, depending on how much I need in it. But yeah, you can turn this on. This is your pitch for your release, and then I should have been. So you've turned your filter on. It'll help, and then this is your amp, which is always on your low frequency. Which I mean, you can actually open that up. You can do it sin, saw, triangle, square, sample hood, hold, but I don't use it like that. I just, I got this here. So in order to get this up here, so let me remove this because this is gonna make me think that I'm using it. So you do this and you're gonna bring it across to 5 like that. Okay. Let me move this back over. This thing is in my way. Now this thing wants to be in my way. Don't mind me. I gotta get that out of the way so I can see what I'm doing now. Okay. So up here, like where these little arrows just popped up, you'll bring this across. So that way you can line that up. That is your looper. And then you'll click this right here to loop it. So let's open this. And then this right here is, or you can either do this one and then you can just open this and it has everything there. But since you're using sample one, it's best just to use that because it, so everything, okay, so when you load up your sample inside of this, let me open this. So when you load up your sample by right clicking and then clicking on your left one, you'll see this in this corner. And then right here, it says what note and where it's at. It's C3 is the note that you're going to want to play, which C3 is right here. Okay. And then even on here, this is C3. It has the numbers. Can't miss it. So you're going to take and you're going to put a kick on 1. You're going to put a kick on 2. Oh, well, I probably didn't put the kick on 2, did I? Okay, so you're going to put kick on 2. Let me make this a little bigger for me. I'm used to working in like, the bigger over the styles or whatever. So you're going to put 1 here. You're going to put 1 on 1, 2 on 2, and then you're going to come right here Then you take your mouse and go across. Then you'll right click and then you'll duplicate. Or you can press D on your keyboard. It'll duplicate it. Okay. So I don't know. Can you see like okay, so now you have your kick. So there's your kick. You start with that, like I said. Okay, so now since we got a kick, uh let okay, so now the next thing I normally start with is my snare. Let me stop this. Okay, so I start normally, actually, I should probably put my bass there. Mm, There we go. We'll go with the bass. I'll put my bass in next because it is. Let's change this. We'll change this to blue for bass. Okay, like I said, you'll mess with your release. You're gonna want to put your release at 800. I mean, that's up to you if you want to put them at 800. It depends on if you want them like that. I put them at 800 because I'm looking for the bass out of all this. That's the reason why I put all mine at 800. Okay, to make this easier for you, press D on your keyboard like I just did, and then you'll take this and you just put it right there. And now you have Mm, you have too many drums. Hold on, let's fix that. Oh, I don't even have it all the way over where it's supposed to be. Okay. So it's gonna pop back up like you're recording. So what I do have like a little thing that I do to my bass every once in a while. All right. I do this to my bass sometimes. I'm just, you know, overly weird with it sometimes. I test everything in my water. Like I said, I test everything in my water. It's just not like it's a whole thing. I have a whole vibe with this when it comes to it. So my whole thing is like if I can use it and make it work, it's going to. So these are the snares that I have. I have other ones, trust me. But I mean, if you were like to do if you were okay, let me stop this because it kind of after so long it's kind of loud and then it gets to me. But so say like I don't normally use these. I'm using this because when you download Studio One, you get a bunch of free samples. I have a whole bunch of samples. It's just that I have mine. So say like if you want to get your own samples or you want to like do a rent to own plugin, you can get on Splice, which you can like actually rent to own Studio One, the newest one, or whichever one you're more into. But Studio One, I mean, I own Studio One 4 because I did the rent to own. I started like once I started making beats, I started on my phone. Didn't know that I could do it on a computer, and then I ended up getting an HP. Started out on that and way to an Apple, which now I use this HP making my beats on it because I use my Apple to DJ now. And which, I mean, this one has a lot more room on it than my Apple does, and my Apple is just more or less for me to like connect to my DJ Pro software so I can use my turntables. And this one right here is where I use this a lot to make my beats on here. I'm actually working on some stuff which I won't open on here because they're not done, they're not ready, in which I'm hoping to have it done by either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. But we'll see. But here's the snares. You pick I mean, you can go through, listen to the snares. And like I said, do a right click and then load it up to that. We'll change the color on that again. You just click this, put whatever color you want. Like I said, I turn all mine up the 800 because I am looking for the highest, like, the highest sound that I can get out of this. So it's all about how high, but I mean there's a trick for me when I do mine. I put a mix tool on mine to bring it down, and I don't use none of I don't use I leave this on difficult. But if you open it, there's nothing but difficult. You just load your own samples in here and you go with it. So and then you do a left click, another left click, and then you open this up. And like I said, all your samples, like all your stuff, when you load it into the sample one, it's going to be on C3. It doesn't change. It just stays on C3. So that's the reason why, like, it makes it so quick for me. So like to say, if I wasn't like talking to you guys and showing you guys how to do this, I would have actually been done already making a beat. But my snares, I always start over here in 3. I don't know. It just seems so right for me to do it on like, and then I do this, and then I'll do the right click, and then I'll duplicate, and then turn that off, and then I'll find a hi-hat, which these right here. Um Pretty much, I mean, they're gonna sound different. You can go through them on the sample one if you want. I don't know. Some of these aren't the best in the world, but it is what it is with them. I mean, they are what they are. I mean, you gotta start somewhere. So you're pretty much gonna start at least somewhere with this. I mean, don't start getting samples until you actually like really know for sure this is something that you want to do. And I mean, I like making beats. I do a lot. Most of the time, I'm not even on. Most of the time, well, lately I haven't been using this. I've been on the turntables a lot more than making beats, but I still do. I just haven't like. I'm still working on the ones that I'm working on, and then once I get them done, I'll put them out or whatnot. Like this one, if this one pretty much sounds good by the time I get done, I'm gonna end up using it, and I'll go from there. you know, I don't want that there. I want it there. And then I'm gonna do the whole right click. Oh nope, this didn't do something. Then do the whole like copy or like put the mouse thing over it and then press duplicate, and then it duplicates it for me. I don't know. So this is a whole thing. I know I'll probably slow it down. So it's not sounding right just yet because I did put a little extra in on like my bass. Probably probably shouldn't have put. I always test everything out. I like to test my stuff out. I'll probably come, which I'm just doing this for like showing you how to do it, and obviously I'm gonna come back and fix it because I pretty much like that already, and I'm gonna end up using it. So there's more like I stay in this part because I need an open hi hat now. Probably use this one. It'll be fun what I'm about to do to it. How's everybody doing anyway? You know, those that have joined me on this. I I've been doing this since 2018 or 2017 on a computer. First, I was born in the 80s, so as soon as the 90s came around, well, little part of like however old I was, like in the middle and during the 80s, after I got to a certain like 89 or between like the time I was born and between 89 before the 90s got around, I had a little cassette Walkman that I used to carry around with me to listen to music. So now, you know, it's different. You can listen to music on your phone, which in the 90s they had phones. And in the 90s it was crazy the way they had the phones. So the phones weren't like they are now. They had like the ones that look like Star Trek, like the little communicators that they had on Star Trek. The flip phones that they had looked like them somewhat, and then they had the really big one for a while in the 80s. Yeah, phones, they progressed, and before then though there was no cell phone. There was always the house phone on your wall, and then that's where everything actually you know went from there. So like I said, all your stuff is always on. Oh well, it wants to mess with me now. Every once in a while it'll mess with me. So I go across. This is where I have fun with this. You go up here to action. I forgot to tell you about this. You have select notes, detect notes, or no, delete notes, transpose, apply, scale, freeze pitch, velocity, freeze velocity, restore velocity, quantize 50%, quantize notes, freeze quantize, humanize, which is I use that a lot, humanize, restore timing, quantize in, length, stretch, distribute notes. This is for like if you like want to fill in and put some notes there. And then this is split a grid, which this is the one that I'm about to click on. This is merge. This merge. So say like if you have a bunch of these and they're cutting these like these little squares like this, what you'll do is you'll click on merge and it'll merge it. It'll do that with your music. You're like your beat, like everything that you're making right now, you can merge it if you want, but I don't merge it because I got to be able to move it around. Then you got your mute events, unmute events, toggle mute, and then you got your expand or extend to part in, repeat notes to part in, mirror notes, randomize notes, which then you can like thin out your notes with this, and then you can fill with notes. This fills your. I'll show you that in a few seconds. I only use that when I'm having trouble trying to find like a melody. I'll get rid of whatever I put in there and use that to fill some notes in. Okay, but this is the one I'm focusing on. This is what I wanted to do, so that way it does this now. So let me make sure I got this over here. You like this little button that I'm on right now. This like turn that down some because it don't need to be that loud. So pretty much like everything that I'm doing, this is your whole drum. So you can put pretty much you can do this however you want. You got to find the style that fits you right when you do something like this. All I'm doing is just showing you how to get started, where to begin, and what to do in order to get started on making a beat. And it literally, I wish I had somebody like me when I started doing this. I had to figure all this out on my own. So it made it really, really complicated for me. So it took me majority of like probably 6 months just to figure out how to use this when I first started on here. And then now, I mean, I've been just doing it ever since. But when I first started, I didn't know that they had like this or you can get your own loops or whatever. So basically what I was doing is I didn't know that these were like I didn't know that they had like the loops or whatever. So what I was doing was just taking these and putting them over here like this and then cutting them to make my own, out of it. And even though like, it took me a while to learn how to do this like this, I still messed up. It sounded like crap, did it like that. So I just don't use them. And then you got like your other stuff right here. Normally I use a snap and a clap, but not today. Excuse me. So what you'll do now is either you can use this one, you can use the Meitai Mojito or the present, which I'll use this one. I have other ones, but these are like the ones that come with Studio One. So these are the ones that I'm showing you. So to get your sound, they have the artist instruments, Rob Lee signature set, synth session. Okay, so these are just like what you can click on to get a sample. So like the drum kit here, I don't use this because it doesn't look like the ones right here that I've made. Doesn't look like this. They're all together. That's why I said do it like this. Makes it easier for you to put one in, move it out, or whatever. To get like, to put in something, take out something, and then you don't have to worry about it just in one group like it would be on here with this. So you open that, you can find these are all the sounds that are in here. And then it goes down to precision, string, synth, which this right here, this one right here, I've used this one a lot. So we'll go ahead. Well, actually, we'll click on this one and then we'll do this. We'll go ahead and open this. I do everything in like 4 bars. So that way I have 4 bars. You could be creative with this. Just kind of be like you got to be creative somehow with your stuff. I try to be as creative as I can. So I'll just do there we go. I kind of want it a little deeper than what it normally is. And then what I'll do is I'll hit D on my keyboard and kind of do that across. I probably won't keep all this. Probably keep some of it. But so now you added a little extra. So now you got a little vocal. So now you got a little vocal there. Okay, so I mean, there's different things on here besides that. I just started it. I mean, so you could play this and go through these vocals. You can't hear some of them. So pretty much, so pretty much, these are like I'm gonna move this back up, and you don't really have to like move it up the way I did. You can actually just like go to this, but it doesn't have the numbers on it, so it makes it a little. It makes it. Oh, we're gonna go up. I'm gonna make a lot of noise doing this because I normally do when I'm doing this. It gives me like at least. And then you can go to this right here and like kind of, but I normally click on this one. So I like this hop, but I won't use it because I'm kind of like, I'll turn stuff down as I go. So so I'm going to just leave that like that. And then this one, we can go to this one now. Okay, so this one is like a keyboard as well. There's bass, bell, chord sounds, drum. I don't use the drums. I think I would if I had the if I had to, I would use the drums in this one and not this one. But this one does have like, certain perks. So like this, I would use for like, underneath this. And then this is the cool thing. So all the stuff that you just did, you can actually click on this and it actually puts them there. So you can see where your stuff was. Just kind of click on it. Don't leave the pencil lit up blue. If you leave the pencil lit up blue, you'll be able to move all this. And then you'll just have one big mess. So like this right here, I think that's this one. And then I actually will do this real quick. And then now I'm gonna take this and I'm going to copy it just for the heck of it and take it off now. And now I'm going to paste it, but I'm not going to leave it where it's at. Oh, did I not paste it? Oh, I guess I did. I forgot to turn it back over. There we go. I forgot to put it back on there. So let me kind of silence this real quick or mute that real quick so that way I'm not killing. Well, we'll use this time. We will go down to D. Well, it didn't go down to D, did it? We'll go down to G, or maybe we'll just move it ourselves. There we go. We'll just move it to G ourselves. Now what we'll do is we'll unmute that. We'll line it up with that just for saying, hey, just to be lining it up. So you got all these things right here that you can use. You just click on them, drop down like the sample parts. The other thing that you need to know is you can click on this and this opens up like this. These are your these are your buses. I'm gonna call them buses. Are your channels for like, the whole part of you making your beats. So I pretty much have what I have on there already. So what norm like so when you go to do this, what you'll do is you don't want that. Yeah, you don't want you want to be able to get to your okay, here we go. So like the drum kick, I'm gonna use this on, and then I go to this, and then I do the modeling 808. And what I'll do with this now is I'll take and I'll move it across because pretty much everything I got on here, except for mm, everything besides that, it'll just be this right here to that point. This is where I'll put the EQ. And then what I'll do is I'll open this back up. And now I will come back down to this, which which I don't know. Because now I'm gonna go over here to my effects since I can't seem to find the mix tool. I need the mix tool. So I'm gonna put a mix tool right here. And then I'm gonna take this mix tool and I'm gonna turn it down to like 10, 10. So you know what? Click that. You could actually just do this yourself. I'm gonna put it -10 because that's where I want it. So that way it lowers the bass and all that a little bit. Well, it's not lowering it, it's just like turning down the frequency of everything that I'm using. So I'm gonna go across and put them here. Okay, so now it's not as loud. See? But this right here, I will use an EQ again. I am going to use an EQ on this one since it's got some vocals. So we will go and find the EQ. There we go. And then we'll go to vocals and we're going to click on one of these. I don't exactly know if that like the vocals that I'm using is man or I mean, I know it's a woman. I just don't know if it's like pop or rock. Which I mean, it pretty much already has a filter on it, so you can cut a lot of the low ends out of this. And do it like that or like this. It's whatever you want to do to so I'm just doing all this for an example. So I mean you can pretty much do whatever you want to your stuff. I'm just showing you like where everything's at. Then over here is your main output. So pretty much with this, you'll come over here. Let's make this a little bigger. Okay. So you'll have like your outputs. This is for like you can see I'm talking. So this is for your microphone, your out. Let me turn that off. That's your outputs, your external, which I have a Casio and I have a Kia or Kia. And then your external, yeah, I already done did that one. And then this is all your channels right here. You don't really need that. Then that shows your channels again. Which pretty much you can just do this. It says add bus for selective, or add bus channel, add effects channel, add VCA channel, audio setup. So, or you can select group like your tracks, you can group them, but you'll click on these right here, add bus channels, because you're going to want channels and you're going to add about 5 of them. So that way you have one for drums, your pianos, which I named mine drum band, um, drum band. I don't know. I got a lot of different names, so it'll be drum band. Um, and then it'll be filter, filter bypass. Well, yeah, filter bypass, and then it'll be the mixing bus is what I make. And then I'll turn around and leave them where they're at, and then I'll add 4 more, which would be like my reverb, my beat delay, which I'll do 2 reverbs, 2 beat delay, and then I'll use that and have that there. Well, I'll do that before I do the other one, like the filter bypass. Well, actually, no, I just do all of them at once, so that way I have them. And then I use bus channels for that, and then you can use these too. This one, I think you can add one and control everything the way you want it. So, say like you got like an instrument that you want to play in between like your beats or whatever, you can have it to where your drums and your bass starts to go down, and then the piano comes up and plays to where you want it to play loud, and then it goes back down, and then the drums come back up to where you want it, and then everything comes back up. But you'll pretty much figure that out. Yeah, like I said, it's how you feel the beat that you're making. You can't actually, I mean, you could actually do what I do, but I mean, this is my style. You'll have to find your own style and get like comfortable and used to doing this. But if you want to pull that up, you just click on this, right click, I'm left click, and it'll pop up, and then you'll have all that stuff there, and then you're good to go from there. And I don't know, I kind of took me a while and a long time to figure out how to do this. I did not know how to do none of this at all. So maybe well, the next time I get on here it'll probably be next Thursday, and we'll go through more, and hopefully, I'll get some questions, because it's cool to get questions and get asked, and then I've just been kind of going through and explaining where everything's at. So I mean, if you have Studio One downloaded and you want, go ahead and go through this stuff, find out which ones you like best, or you can actually, let me close this out. I'm gonna close this. I am gonna save that because I'm gonna come back and fix it. and I'm gonna make it sound different. So you can actually click on, not that. That's some of my stuff that I've already done created. You're gonna want to click on this. Okay. So like I said, like earlier when I started, I said I had a template. You can click on this, but I'm actually gonna create a new one for y'all. We'll go back. We'll do an empty song. Then okay, so you can take and add this one because once you do a template, it's pretty much not gonna leave the sound in there. You're just gonna be without. So you'll add one for your kick, your bass, or your snare, whichever one you want to start with. I start backwards. I don't ever start like, with my piano, which I mean I probably could. So you'll either start with your snare. So you'll start with your snare. You can start with your snare. You can start with your hi hat, open hat, right here with these three, and then you can do your kick, and then you can do your bass. So and then there you can use this for like your piano sound. Don't forget to set this to 1/8. You don't want 1/16 because that's like the smallest out of all this. That's probably why the drums were gliding the way I want, like gliding a little different, is because I forgot to set this to 1/8. I got all up into talking. Make sure this stays on bars. This is adapt, and then you can turn this on. I don't really use that until I start arranging my stuff, and then I'll turn that on with this one. But you can add for like your keyboard sound. You can add like two of these, three of them. I normally use this one, and this one because it's more like a synth. Which I mean, hold on, which is not it's not too bad. Let's do this. I'll open this so that way you can. So that's your like acid. And then you got a bass line. So you pretty much can get that. You can do this however you like. I don't know. I normally just like. Let me turn this down some. The sound. So there we go. So that way it's not so loud. There. So it's not so loud. It does like after so long, like when you're sitting here, you're making a beat, you're all into it. You're like, having fun doing it. But sometimes some of this stuff gets annoying. So you can go through, find whatever sound you want. This is more like bass. There's a lot of stuff on here, but I'm not gonna say I would use all. I'm not gonna probably. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna leave these blank. Show you how to make your own template. So let me get rid of that. All right. So you'll have three of these for like. So say you want piano, you want like some synth, and then you want like a little bass line to go along with these. You got it right here in these three. So you put them there. These will be your drums. So pretty much, basically, like I said, you want to open this up. You're gonna go to. You don't have to have this on. It's up to you. How you like, however you want it to be. You don't have to, but I do. I normally just take and leave this open like that. You can actually click on this too, and it'll open up this little arrow down. It'll open up all your bus channels, and then you have your bus channel, your effects channel, your ace, your ACA or VAC channel, and then this is your. I guess this. I think this. Yeah, this turns them off. Then you can turn them on and off with that. But pretty much you add whatever you want to this. So, like I said, you'll add probably like 4 of these, and then you'll well, no, you'll add 5 of these, and then you'll add 4 of these, and then you can use the VCA if you want. I'm gonna have to fool around with that. I don't really use it. All I know is like you can control like all your kick or your pianos that you have together. You can control it with that if you send them to it, and then you can turn it up and down. I know that much. I just don't ever use it. I haven't explored with it. I need to probably, and it might actually like help. And then there's another thing that you can do, which makes this cool. You can click on this, right? You have all these here. Don't, but if you have like a sound here, you can actually take and it's not that one. This one, you can take and open that, and then you can take and add and remove. So say like you want an effects, death, or death or whatever, you can take and click on that. You can add it. Click add by adding it, but you're gonna have to open it up. You're gonna want to have to do that, and then it'll move that over here. And it says off because I haven't turned it on yet. But then to remove it, you click remove. As simple as that. But there's amp, filter, performance, audio, bypass. So you can like literally do a lot of stuff with this. You can take and click on this. You can turn on, turn off. It's only off because there's nothing filled in there yet. So and then what you're doing is you're gonna turn on like read it. So you can actually take like the thing that I was talking about right here. When you open this, you can take this and move it up and down. And as you're writing, while your beat's playing, you can turn the levels up and down however you feel like fit the way you want it. It'll so like after you go up here and you find import, export mix down, export stems, send to, update mastering file, locate missing files. There's a lot of stuff on here. Add track, add audio track, add audio stereo, add instrument track, add automation track. That's the thing that I'm talking about. So say like you add this and you move this up and down, you're actually gonna be using where'd it go? Oh, now we okay. Then you'll be using this one to like make the sound go up, down, like at a high or low level. Which I mean, it's up to you if that's how you want it. I don't like I said, I don't really do it that way. I actually have this keyboard right here that has like a beat pad on it, and it has my faders. I use that strictly for this, but I'm hoping to eventually, like, get a beat pad. So if I get a beat pad, it'll loop certain things for me, and then I won't have to do so much arranging. Because if I use the beat pad to loop, there'll be like a number of times that I want it to stay on, and then loop it, and then I'll be able to get that to cut out, and then I'll be able to take and like put it where I want it without having to arrange it. Well, I'll still have to arrange it on here, but it'll just come in to where I want it to come in when I want it to come in, so that when I won't have to do so much work to it. But like I said, the blue line up there, you can turn this on and off like that. That's your looper. Um, I mean, leave this on bars. They got second samples, frames, time liner, beat liner, but I don't use none of them. I leave it on bars. Then there's your adapt bars, quantize, frame. Same thing as this pretty much, but you're just using that to adapt to this. And then this is your pretty much quantize. You can like pitch the notes different if you want. You can triple, quadruple, and so forth. And then you can start in velocity range, or you can change the A, B, C, D, E, and then you got this. But I leave it on this. I don't really. It doesn't have a name, so I really couldn't tell you what it's called. Then you got your 1/8, which right here is you can change it. So 1 and 1 makes a bigger note, way bigger than half a note. So half a note would be like, say this is one of a note, and this is half of a note right here. And then 1/4 of a note, and then 1/8 of a note is a little bit smaller. But I always use the 1/8. Sometimes I use the one, not all the time, not often, just sometimes. But I do use it every once in a while. So say like this right here, I can control with like my little faders on my controller or my keyboard, which my keyboard does not loop, which I wish it did. It has a beat pad on it, but I wish it would like repeat and loop certain things when I'm doing it, but it doesn't. I will eventually get to the point where I'm like I have a drum pad that does it, but right now I'm working with what I'm working with. So I noticed that it is 3 o'clock now. I'm gonna kind of get up off of here now. I hope, like, if you have to, you'll be able to go back and watch this. You can find it on YouTube as well, or just rewatch it on here. I mean, watch it as many times as you have to. And if you still like don't get it, get a hold of me, message me, and I will still walk you through. And like, and then I'll give you like places like where you can get free samples. I'll tell you some names of some spot, like some where you can get free samples or whatnot. So that way you can use like the samples that are a little bit better than the loops or samples that they have already on here. But go ahead and watch this again if you have to. Try to like build your own beat and then let me know how it went. So that way I do know how it went, or how's it like how you're doing. So that way, it's I know. And then if you need help, I can help you. It won't hurt. Well, like I said, this is the keyboard that I use. So like I wrote down all the letters for my notes because it didn't have it on there, so I wrote them down. And besides that, my son uses this, my oldest one and my youngest one and my second oldest. They'll come down here and they want to learn how to play most of the time. So I put that on there for them as well. But I have the faders, I have a beat pad. I just don't have no way to loop it on with this, so that way I can go to the keys and do it. So eventually, maybe, hopefully, but I do have all the knobs and stuff that I do need to do what I do need to do when I want to like make certain things happen. Like I would on my DJ controller, pretty much. I have 8 faders, and I can change the sample of the notes down here at the bottom underneath them too. So I can make 1/4. I can 1/4 one with like the timing or whatever, and then I can do 1/8, and then 1/8 with like a different timing set, so it'll come in a little later. And then like the regular numbers, like 1/16, it'll be a little bit sooner, and so forth and on. But I have these to like change certain things with it. Which once like you get comfortable doing what you're doing and getting through like the whole process of learning where everything's at, or try to actually build your own beat and see how it goes. and then let me know how it turned out for you. If I mean, as long as you try, it don't hurt to try. I mean, everybody has to try. And if you don't try, how do you know you're going to be any good at it if you don't even like proceed to even try? There's a lot of different apps that you can use. And next time when I get on here, maybe I'll show the other ones, just not this one, because there are some that you don't have to pay for that are free, but it involves having like, Apple products though. So just go ahead and like watch this again. Watch it as many times as you have to. Like I said, it took me a while to learn how to do what I just showed you. And it's not simple and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a struggle. But if I have to, I'll get back on here and I will repeat the first step all over again until you get it, or we'll do it together until you get comfortable doing it and you know where everything's at. We'll just repeat this step one again. And we'll just keep going from there and we'll keep doing what we do. So I'm gonna get up off of here now and let you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Try building your own beat tonight. And like I said, you can message me or just like message me on the video so I know that at least I know you're trying and try to do what you're doing. So you guys go ahead and try that. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you need help and I'll walk you through it again. So you guys have a great night or great evening or yeah, great evening. Enjoy the rest of your night and have a great day. And remember to stay blessed.